they talked internally about, hey, do we want to do different for for part 2 of phase 1. And Robadoba, as the shot caller in game, he basically said, hey guys, I would really like to use drafting here. I want to be the one creating the strategy. It will make it easier for me as the shot caller also then to create the in-game strategy for the team. So they switch it over, and that probably influenced the ban pattern that they have here. And it's also interesting to note that Zealots banned out Tomb, because this is a map where Diamond Skin hasn't really been all too successful yet. They're 0-5 there.
Well, to add on top of that, I talked to Mopsy a little bit at the Western Clash, and a lot of teams feel right now that Tomb of Spider Queen is a map that's falling off in priority for a lot of folks because of how easy it is to get that early game advantage. Grab that first train, go for a second one, and you kind of feel like game is over at that point. So a lot of teams are actually probably going to ban out Tomb of Spider Queen as we head into the second phase, as that's starting to become more of a popular opinion amongst our pros.
Yeah, and currently, as we are heading into Volskaya, now it's also a question, how do Zealots pick and ban this time? And we have Maiev still as a constant. Diamond Skin actually banning her out on the first position, which is already interesting to note. We had similar ban patterns in the Eastern Clash and also the Western Clash from teams that weren't able to play Maiev, and that was always a bit of a problem that you could exploit later on in drafts. For now, though, Malfurion still in that first pick position. That hasn't really changed. He's still the strongest and most impactful support that we have, enabling a lot of combos. In this case, we're not going to see the Malfurion Tracer combo because Zealots banned her out right away. But there's, of course, a couple of heroes that we still have our eye on, especially Medivh for Zealots, as that's always an option.
Also, Tyrael, Blaze, heroes that I'm wondering about here. When I spoke to a lot of pros this week, they mentioned that they feel like the meta is actually very similar to what we saw at the Western Clash. And Tyrael and Blaze was a very popular combo there.
It was especially prevalent in the Grand Final. We saw the combo also before the Grand Final coming out several times, where Dignitas and other teams used it as the opening, going straight into Blaze plus Tyrael, and that combo was insanely powerful. But look at this. Zealots, first of all, Medivh, we just talked about him, and they also use Sonya. Now, Sonya, of course, is now in a stronger version of herself, and we always know that Zealots, they love to play Sonya. Zarmany great on the hero. But Diamond Skin, not hesitating even for a second. They see those two picks, and you could tell they more or less expected them already. Snap picking Garrosh and Genji.
Interesting to see that Garrosh coming in here. Garrosh was actually very popular at the Eastern Clash, and we had him dabbled in a little bit at the Western side. But Diamond Skin looking to bring that aggression forward, and this is kind of similar, or at least showcasing what Robadoba believes he wants to pull off with this new drafting that's pulling in for Diamond Skin. And I like the adjustments too. We really needed to see them, because remember, they were on the bottom side of the standings moving into this week, so this more aggressive stature from them could be enough for them to get into a victory. But then again, dealing with ADRD and his Medivh on the opposite side, that'll be a task.
Yeah. Also talked, when it comes to Garrosh, I talked to some of the European players, in particular Breeze, about why he feels we are Admiral Gonzalez banned out here. Why he feels that Garrosh is all of a sudden so strong, and why he feels he made this big resurgence. And in his perspective, one of the main reasons is really that the support meta has influenced it greatly, since a lot of the supports that are very high don't have the Divine Shield, don't have the Ancestrals. We see a lot of Stukov, we see a lot of Malfurion right now, and whenever you are able to flip a target over and to throw it into the back of the team, that panic button just doesn't exist, and makes it so much harder for the opponent's team to save that one hero.
Something to point out too as well is we are now adding, if you believe a team is certainly going to win, let us know in chat. Right now, Zealots are up 87% to the 13% of a Diamond Skin. So a lot of teams still on the hype here of Zealots and what they pulled off at the Western Clash. Rightfully so.
Yeah, it's absolutely understandable, and the team has really grown. And you could tell that particularly, first of all, the bootcamp. That was a big part of it already. But also just meeting each other in real life and talking to each other. Just we had the story, for example, where especially ADRD was coaching some of his teammates and saying, listen, in this situation, I need you to be standing here. I need you to attack this way. I need you to focus that target more so that I, as Medivh, for example, can help you. And that's just something that is so much easier to accomplish if you sit next to someone. You can point at the screen, you can say, listen, if you play it like this, if you position yourself a little bit differently, I have more of an impact and I can help you more to take a target down or to engage against an opponent. And it's so much harder when you do that in an online environment. So I feel they are one of the teams that got the most out of playing not only at the Western Clash itself, but also having the bootcamp beforehand.
Yeah, I feel like that can be a real-life example applied to anything. I mean, look at our casting. I need you to laugh here, Calidor. I need you to smile here, Calidor. Calidor, I need you a little bit more tan this weekend. Things like that. Very helpful when you're in person,
And as a German, you know, I need that direction.
You need that direction.
Because, like, this is really where I'm helpless, and I rely on you a lot. So when you give me that smile thing, like, smile now,
a little bit of a smile.
laugh.
We have duck hands for when we want to smile.
I was thinking about what side I could go for laughing.
I'm gonna use this our next cast in the grand finals. I'm like, Caldor, it's time. Malthael and Junkrat.
I'm gonna make a joke now.
Joke time.
Laughing 1, 2, 3.
Malthael and Junkrat coming in here. Junkrat and Garrosh were actually a bit of a popular combo, but Junkrat on his own. One of these heroes that are starting to become more and more popular because of that possibility to get that pick. Put someone out of position to allow for your team to bring the aggression. Suddenly Genji's on that target and they're dead.
And some actually blame Snitch for performing so well with Junkrat at the Western Clash. And now we have Junkrat everywhere in Hero League at the Eastern Clash here in the season. So yeah, Snitch, thank you so much.
Can that become like the Heroes meme? Thanks, Snitch. Every time we're annoyed with something.
Snitch, please.
The new thanks, Obama. All right, so Rhaegar comes in here for that 5th pickup. And Zealots have a pretty typical composition for them. Hanzo there for Chris. Sonya coming in for Zarmany. Medivh for ADRD. You got the Blaze in there as well as their main tank. Looking pretty darn strong.
Yeah, the interesting part is that Blaze is now on the main tank position again. We've seen that a few times. It's not necessarily the norm, but with Sonya here, of course, it makes a lot of sense. You still have the bunker, but normally Blaze is still played as the off-tank.
I think it makes sense here on Volskaya Foundry. Typically, you want to have those strong early-game warriors that can hold a point down. And Blaze, of being able to sustain himself, similar to an Arthas, is actually in a really good spot to hold a location. He's got a nice health pool, has the engage available, and being able to sustain himself is just strong enough for Volskaya. So I think this is something mostly more map-catered.
For me personally, what I'm really interested in is the Medivh performance now, because when we look at the regular season in Europe, Medivh was played 7 times by Zealots, and they lost 5 out of those 7 games. And again, we always have to ask ourselves, how much was that influenced by ADRD moving and having those technical difficulties that we now know about? Was it just them going up against strong opponents where it was much rougher for him to have an impact? Or was it really the only problem? So we're going to find out now, or at least get a glimpse of what's actually going on with the Zealots. Was the Western Clash a fluke? Are they that strong? They're going up against a team that is obviously the underdog heading into the series, since Diamond Skin had a very rough season so far. But at the same time, from their own playstyle, I can at least deduct then, okay, how strong is the team, and do they have that potential still? Do they ride that momentum?
Yeah, exactly. Zealots are currently under the microscope for us, but we can't forget about Diamond Skin with their adjustments. Robodobo coming in for the shot calling. I want to see how different this team is as we head into the second part of Phase 1. Let's do it here. Game number 1, Volskaya Foundry, Best of 5 Series Diamond Skin, going against the Zealots.
And starting things up to the left side in our best of 5 here, we already have the Zealots with Mopsio on Blaze, Zarmany on Sonya, ADRD on Medivh, Chris on Hanzo, and Shat on Rhaegar.
On the right side, in the red, Diamond Skin, Wolf Joe playing Malfurion, Ross Meg on Genji, Nande on Malthael, Robodoba playing Garrosh, and Darkmok on Junkrat.
Zealots is one of the most successful team playing Blaze in Europe. They have 6 games played on Blaze and an 83% win record, which is actually pretty fantastic. One of the few teams that is better is Dignitas with an 8-1 track record, and Method has a 6-0, so pretty close. But these 3 teams are miles ahead of everyone else playing Blaze when it comes to the European scene. That of course includes the regular season. But again, this is going to be a very different setup here. We had a couple of balance changes, especially when we're talking about Sonya, when we're talking about Medivh. We're going to find out if the teams adapted properly. And that's actually a really interesting talking point as well. The meta, how has it changed, and who figured it out first?
It's always the point. We head into League of Play. I remember the first week at HGC when we attempted to figure out what exactly the meta would be, and it completely was flopped on its head. We could double support into double melee.
And Diamond Skin has talked about this. When I talked to them, they actually mentioned that they feel good, they feel strong, but they don't know if that's maybe, you know, like a false positive. If they just played against teams where their strategy works, and now that they have to face an actual league environment, that all of a sudden all of these ideas they have about the meta turn out to be wrong. And that's something that a lot of teams have echoed, where they said, there have been so many changes now, we think we know what's going on, but we can't be 100% certain until we see the other teams play and until we have played our first games.
Yeah, it really feels like week 2, week 3 is when you see that real adjustment of what the meta is actually going to be. Hang on here, Zealots getting a bit aggressive, coming in for a fight on the bottom right. Diamond Skin sets up for a turret. Nande is able to grab it. Zarmani doing a little bit of harassment, but for the most part, Diamond Skin is going toe-to-toe without their Junkrat.
Yeah, Junkrat was still all the way up at the top, and that's actually a big wave that Zealots is losing now because Diamond Skin has pushed out the top wave pretty successfully. Darkmook is now already heading back as Mopsio is making his way over, but that was a full wave that got lost.
That it was. The experience, okay here so far. Zealots has the top here to clear out the lane. They did a good job of pushing in that middle lane, which offset it a little bit. You can see that turret damage already there for Diamond Skin on the top right. But again, Diamond Skin gets that turret, which is important. Going into the first control point, you see a lot of teams try to grab those turrets and control the area. If you're able to get both of them, typically for the most part, you can get a 50 to 60% on the control zone, putting your opponent in a weird spot where they have to decide, do we give this up, which is hard to do with the Protector being so strong, or come in and try and force a fight.
Yeah, at the same time, when it comes to talents now, also we have Broccoli on level 4, the Vengeful Roots for Wolfjaw and Malfurion, so trying to go for the little trained to have more of an impact here. Sonya, of course, with Battle Rage on level 4. One of the most powerful talents that the hero currently has, and one of the reasons why she is so insanely strong.
Robodoba keeping the poke here. Moving that ground back here on level 1, Indomitable coming on level 4. Gonna need that. Make sure not to get slowed down if a Rehgar comes up for a chase, or even having to deal with a stun from the Blaze that can come in later on. Now with the control point popping up, Diamond Skin and crew are dealing with pressure on the top side. A huge knockback there from Junkrat, pulling Zealots over the top right corner. Thought that would result in a death, but Mopsio with the Pyromania is just fine.
Yeah, and the interesting part is that it's actually Diamond Skin who nearly lost the target since Rostmek was all of a sudden dropping super low in hit points. But already position taken here on the control point. Diamond Skin has taken the lead, but Robodoba nearly falling and needs to be careful in Garrosh as the Zealots are starting to take over control.
Yeah, they are. 34% here for Diamond Skin, but Zealots now control the point and they are climbing. 10% for the moment. Contestion coming in here from Robodoba, but Zealots, they are standing strong with Zarmani leading the charge.
At the bot lane, on the other hand, Malthael has pushed out another wave, and there's nobody that rotates down. Sonya's now trying to do it, and arrives, still missing a few of the minions, but still enough to keep even in experience. And Diamond Skin is about to recapture the point here. It's all about that first protector, as we are already seeing the Zealots aim for another quick turret to have an upper hand when it comes to the fight over the objective.
Yes, this is a quick play here. Should allow them to invade if they need to on that control point. Mopsio, however, getting low, is trying to sit still on the back right corner, trying to stay alive, and he actually falls. Zealots only having 4 members here as Diamond Skin collapses on the control point.
Yeah, he had absolutely no way of escaping there. He was just like caught between a rock and a hard place as the two heroes pinned him against the wall. But now Zealots, they are missing out on their main tank. And they have to contest the control point soon, and they're trying to do exactly that. Here comes Zarmani, but he's immediately thrown out. Needs to be careful here. Once again protected, but the kill as we see Genji confirming the final blow. And now all of a sudden, Rostmek is in the position where he's nearly taking out ADRD as well.
And Diamond Skin was able to claim the 2 turrets, and they'll be able to grab the first protector of the game. We'll see if Zealots are able to defend. Typically, when we see that first protector come out, usually you can count on a 4 at least going down to half health, and if not dealt with properly, then if someone falls, Diamond Skin push forwards and get a 4. But already, good poke coming in from Zealots.
And look at the situation that we find ourselves in. The Zealots, the team that came in 2nd place at the Western Clash, are currently trailing behind Diamond Skin, who had a very, very rough start into 2018. So the changes they made, at least up to this point, seem to be working out. Robodoba and his strategy is looking strong, and level lead for Diamond Skin, taking out several turrets and opening up these walls to get free reign towards the fountain itself. And once they can take that down, which they're currently trying to do here at the top lane, it's going to be fantastic for them once the 2nd objective starts.
The benefits of getting that first protector and a couple of kills. A full level, almost towards level 10. Nande double soaking as well. Diamond Skin seems to have really found their footing here in game number 1. Now with the protector cleared up, Zealots are looking to go for a fight. Mopsio drops down the Death Potion, looks for Robodoba, but they kite away easily.
In the meantime, we have 35 stacks on ADRD's side with Medivh, so he's currently 5 stacks away from completing his quest with Master's Touch. So it's another really for the Arcane Rift. It's really important for him here now. So it's important that he doesn't fall victim to any kind of combo out of Diamond Skin. Since the red team has now picked up their level 10 abilities, and that means Riptire, we have the Warlord's Challenge again, and Malthael holding back his level 10.
Yeah, what do you think he's thinking about here? Last rides would be a bit difficult against a Medivh, but I feel like a lot of things are pretty difficult in the Medivh lately. Even a Tormented Souls would be a bit of a pain.
For Medivh alone, I already have trouble thinking about him going for last rights here, but then at the same time, if you can play around the cooldown, you can still get a lot of value out of it in the situations that we see here, especially if you're able to follow up on a good taunt on the side of Garrosh, for example, or just simply a throw.
Especially with the Riptire coming in from behind, Dragon Blade as well. There are some things Diamond Skin can do. Now they'll continue to wait for that level 10, and Zealots have gotten the time to get their own 10. What are you giggling about?
Junkrat.
Oh, the Junkrat laugh? He's actually insane. Like, the sun down in Australia, man, it's done stuff to him.
I like it. I think it's a pretty good voice. Like, the voiceovers, like the voice lines that he has are pretty cool.
Well, Junkrat, while he is cool,
he's going full goblin. He does.
I guess. Yeah, he's kind of similar to Gazlo in a way, right? Like, constantly laughing, thinking things hilarious, building his own stuff out of junk.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is Gazlo Junkrat from the future? Did we just crack the code? Is that the lore?
Gazlo got so annoyed that he never gets picked that he said, okay, I have to reinvent myself. And then he turned into Junkrat. That's what happened.
I think he actually went on vacation down to Australia, and things just went south from there. Became
Literally.
Junkrat. Wow, man.
Yeah.
Dang, dude, that's mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's meta right there, my friend.
Well,
Quest for Medivh is completed as the two teams are still dancing around. And look at the map. No, the mini-map. Up to the top is going to be where the next protector spawns, where the next control point is going to be active. And taking out that fountain early on, again, gives a huge positional advantage to Diamond Skin. If during the team fight they can move away and just reset at their own fountain, it will give them a huge lead. So 30 more seconds, and it could also lead to Diamond Skin running with a talent advantage. So things are looking good for the red team at this point.
yeah, it actually becomes very annoying, especially with Junkrat poking consistently. Rossmann behind, Mopsio goes in for a jet propulsion, misses out on it as Robodoba sidesteps well. Junkrat at the same time is pushing top lane, going for that 13, which will allow for Diamond Skin to work on that control point towards the top, which we should be seeing them move into pretty darn soon. There we go. Control point unlocked, and Junkrat already on top.
Level 13 any second now, and this is fantastic for Diamond Skin. I mean, this is really great. So now they are in a position where they not only hold a turret, they are about to hold the talent advantage. They have at the same time the positional advantage because they still hold their fountain. But Genji falling against Hanzo, that's a big problem here right now. That mitigates a lot of the advantages that the Zealots had, and Diamond Skin immediately starts to move away. They will have to wait for Genji before they re-engage here, and that allows the Zealots, of course, to not only pick up their level 13, but to also take position over the point now. And we have them also with the synergy of the level 7 and level 13 talent on Medivh. The Circle of Protection has by now been taken, and we have on level 7 the Arcane Explosion.
Arcane Explosion. Zealots showing exactly how lethal their composition can be. They didn't even have to use Dragon's Arrow or even a Ras. Sonya and crew jumping straight onto that Genji, able to get the kill right away. But we're getting to a point where Diamond Skin can contest. Genji is back, Malthio's rotating up, it's time to fight.
And Sonya is still at the bot lane, now starting the rotation towards the top, since they realize they need to get ready for that 5 versus 5 team fight. And they're starting to move in. Robodoba already taking the point here. 80% against 36. Here's the Medivh ult, using the glyph. Using that cooldown, not really getting too much value out of it just yet, as Robodoba is still maintaining the position on the control point here, and Zealots will have to go in and fight.
Yeah, Rossmann able to get that play bomb out there. Pretty big there. Allows for Diamond Skin to regroup again. Zarmany goes in with the spear, gets some damage on Robodoba. A little bit of a taste back there from Diamond Skin, but Zealots are making their play to move in towards the control point. Zarmany with that Wrath holding for a long time. Yeah,
the turret didn't really do a whole lot. And once again, Roskmeg is going in, darting in with a swift strike. We have the Riptire coming through as well. Zarmany down to half HP as Mopsio drops the bunker, but it gets burned down pretty quickly. 99% overtime has already started here, and at this point, Zealots are desperately fighting for control. They're trying to take Robodoba down, and they might get the kill here. The shield comes out. Is it going to be enough? Roba barely moving out of here. Here comes the silence, but this could be the end of the Zealots on the control point. Mopsio still trying to survive, but in comes Roskmeg. He confirms the kill, gets the reset, and tries to go for a double.
But Zarmany is still here. Just kidding. Junkrat throws him onto the conveyor belt. So does Robodoba as well, dropping on the side. Luckily, a portal is here to get Sonya out, but Diamond Skin, after a long fight, a large duration, are able to eventually grab the rest of the control point, grab the protector, and this will be the second one of the game.
Really well done by Diamond Skin. And also Roskmek just all over the place the entire time with Genji using his cooldown, zipping through. And they really burned down that bunker so quickly. The position that Mopsio had was a desperate one. They needed to somehow stay on the point, and it got really difficult for them. Malfurion coming through there at the end as well, even keeping Garrosh alive, which was absolutely fantastic for them. So great play by Diamond Skin and a clutch protector they just secured for themselves, but it already yields a lot of results for them. Closing in on level 16, dropping structures. This is looking good for Diamond Skin.
The Zealots, they're hoping to fight back. They go forward portal aggressively behind the protector, putting some damage on it. ADRD will get punished, take some damage from the protector as they fight on back. And with Diamond Skin hitting level 16, they are stepping towards the south. Now, they don't have Malthea here, which leads me to believe they're not fully committing to the idea of breaking down anything here unless they get a pick. But Diamond Skin definitely in a commanding lead as we head into game number 1. We're going towards the late game already.
And you can tell that one of their high priorities is what they did earlier at the top lane. They break the wall and then they eliminate the fountain. They eliminate the well. And as we already talked about earlier, that just takes the opportunity for the Zealots to reset during a fight completely away from them. And this is a huge problem. It's one of the reasons why Diamond Skin won the last Protector in the first place. So a very nice move here by Diamond Skin. Very strategic to really make sure that they cross all the boxes at this point. Eliminate all of the structures. We still have our own forts holding. We have our own walls standing. We can always retreat behind them. Tap of mana, tap of hit points, and then re-engage into the fight.
Now, with that being said, I feel like Zealots have done a good job of protecting their forts. Typically, you see 2 or 3 down by now with the 2 protectors being up. So they've been showing a nice resilience so far. But as we head into this third protector phase, they are going to be on even talent levels. We're moving towards level 18, level 19, where that fight should be breaking out. This is a chance here for Zealots to move in for an engage. And if they can get the fight they want and kill the target they would like to right away, that's where they excel. That Groundbreaker, that level 13, also coming in for Garrosh with the help of Malfurion in the last fight, defensive measures, was just enough to keep him alive. And that's why we saw Diamond Skin prevail over time.
Yeah, for me, it's really one of those situations where Diamond Skin set themselves up for the third protector very nicely because of them taking those structures away that we talked about earlier. So they have a positional advantage. But they need still to win it. The problem that I see for Zealots is if Diamond Skin really takes the next protector, it's going to be rough going for the Zealots. Because then Diamond Skin will go through these forts that you talked about, and they will aim for a keep too. And that should snowball them in experience very quickly towards level 20. And that's something that has to concern the Zealots. So they really need a win here. They need a fight where they can take Diamond Skin down. And if they can start maybe with an isolated pick, as they did earlier against Genji, that would be fantastic for them. And it could start with AD already providing vision as he does just now and finding a target that they can collapse onto.
I was curious to see if that target would pop up with Malfurion being in the top right, grabbing the mercenary camp, and ADRD seeing 4 members behind enemy walls but by themselves. I thought maybe Zealots was a little bit aggressive there, but nothing seemed to unfold. And to be fair, Diamond Skin were hugging their walls, so they had fort defense available to them. But I would love to see that aggression soon, and they may just wait until that control point comes up so they can take that advantage and run with it. And as I say that, they go for a polybomb and go into a combo.
Yeah, and they're trying to go for Blaze, and that's actually an awkward position for Mopsio to be in. But once again, the portal is there, and Medivh making sure that Mopsio gets out of there. But Roba wants to go in. Nice move by Shadow, stopping him cold in his tracks as he tried to close the distance to throw Mopsio into the fort.
Alright, it's control time in about 25 seconds. That point will unlock towards the south. Sonya dealing with that top lane, but also starting the mercenary camp so she can get a counter push happening while they're fighting over the control area. The Zealots, meanwhile, have a turret that has just spawned, so they have a chance to grab that as well. It's all about this control point. Will Diamond Skin get it? Break down a couple of forts and a keep, as you mentioned, or will Zealots finally, for the first time in this game, get their first protector?
I like the position that Diamond Skin is in. The structural advantage goes to them. They also have the healing pulse, and they've always had Genji, Roskmek, who puts so much pressure on Chris whenever he has a chance. He swift strikes in, does a bit of damage, moves out again, just jumping away, and they already take the lead here. And this is going to be a difficult one for the Zealots. Everybody's rotating now, though, but this is really the important one. If Zealots lose out on the third protector, they're going to be in trouble. And Diamond Skin, can they coordinate well enough to take it?
Chris jumping away there. Robodova goes for a ground breaker. Here's a Reptile, and Zarmany is the target. Zarmany thrown to top right, gets taunted as well, but the Ancestral Healing from Shad will keep him alive, and Garrosh is down. Here comes an arrow as Malfurion gets hit. Wolfjo drops a Twilight Dream, but maybe too late, but Rosmeg is able to clean up 2 targets. He's looking for a third with ADRD on the top left corner. Can he get it? Oh, he misses out!
He misses out on the Swift Strike and barely survives there. That could have been the absolute blowout. If he gets the target onto Medivh, Medivh falls and they can completely annihilate Zealots. I think with that reset, he could have probably just taken all of them down, but he misses it just barely, and that is enough for the Zealots to move away and nearly get a counter kill against him. But the situation for the Zealots doesn't really improve. They are still in a slot where they are going to lose their Protector any second. And it started off so well for the Zealots as well. They take down Garrosh, but then watch out for Genji. Getting 1 kill, zipping in again, nearly taking out ADRD. Here goes Blaze, and here comes the Swift Strike that he barely misses.
Wolfjo able to get that Twilight Dream off just in time to allow Rosmeg to move forward, get the Dragon Blade, and get those resets. If there were a possible opportunity for the Zealots to turn around with the Jet Propulsion being available, or even a Spear, with them not being silenced, they may have actually stopped Genji in his tracks, but that sounds helping out enough. Wolfjo may have fallen, but he was definitely instrumental for Genji getting the resets.
You can see on the minimap how Malthael is going all the way on the safe path around those forts, just to make sure that nobody is ganking him here. And I really like that pathing that we're currently seeing from him. But at the same time, I want to see more aggression from Diamond Skin now. They have the level 20, but the Zealots have also taken their own Storm talents. And now it's that 5-man push at the bot lane. And this one has to be successful. If you take 3 Protectors in the game, you need to get something out of it. And Diamond Skin, they need to try and get this keep.
Level 20 Spear getting picked up here for Sonya. Allows her to engage from a pretty far distance, as you just saw, but also the big tail here. She gets armor, being able to be pretty aggressive, allowing her to jump onto backlines and force fights. And so far, this Protector is getting chunked down pretty quickly between Hanzo and that Sonya, consistently putting out some damage, but here is the engage. Turning around here, Zarmany gets an engage. Robodoba and crew in that Protector fight back, but Zarmany with that Force of Will coming in there from ADRD is still healthy.
And the Protector is not really getting as much value as it should. I mean, what did they take down? The wall at the keep and a fort that was already completely exposed. For an 18-minute Protector, that's just not enough here. So we are currently looking at another reset and another battle for an objective. And Diamond Skin, considering... I mean, let's be quite frank here. Considering that they have taken 3 Protectors, it is crazy that they are on even experience with their opponent.
Yeah, it's really hard for them to get that Protector in that back line. And then when you think about it, if you look at their siegers, they have Genji and Junkrat, who are amazing at destroying keeps. I can see where they're having issues here. With Zealots having such a good defense and having that setup concave and a bunker available, Diamond Skin's a little bit too fearful to push into those keeps. They need to get a kill or 2. It's that simple when it comes to actually pushing with their Protectors, for them to get that confidence to move in and take away that infrastructure that you're looking for.
I'm still very, from their perspective, it must be very disappointing not having a keep at this point. 3 Protectors in, and now we have 20 versus 20 talents. And to be quite frank with you, if you have taken this many objectives in the early and mid game, and you have not taken a keep, then you can't complain if your opponent wins the 4th or the 5th one and all of a sudden is about to end the game. These bad boys scale hard.
It's a rough situation, and yeah, they do. And when we look at it here, it feels like we've had an action-packed game, but it's only 8 kills here in 20 minutes. Our teams have gone blow for blow. The Protector should be that changing mark, and all they've gotten are 2 forts. Remember, we still have a fort in the middle of the map that is still standing here for Zealots.
Malthael is also still holding his 20 because he wants to see if he needs buyback and if he needs to utilize that. So that's going to be a quick pick once that we head into the next team fight. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this is going to develop, because now we have another objective spawning in the middle. And this time, Diamond Skin doesn't have the advantage over Fountain. Their own got annihilated already.
I'm curious if Zealots win this Protector. Can they push out with the fort still up here for Diamond Skin? Feels like they can get a fort at least to keep wall, but with Junkrat consistently poking, that'd be kind of annoying for them. But regardless, they need to start getting Protectors underneath their belt if they want to get a win. I don't think I've ever seen a Volskaya Foundry that was won without a team getting your Protector. Like, you need to grab one of those eventually.
Yeah, okay, here comes the fight for the Pulse, and Robodoba in trouble, but he gets it. They just need to get the item itself, and they can't. It gets actually stolen by Shad. So, not sure if that was a misclick or them just not moving in at the right time, but Shadow's the one just sneaks in and takes the healing pulse. So, well, congratulations. They can go to Diamond Skin, but that doesn't really help you.
Yeah, getting that healing pulse will be helpful around the control point. I do like how Zealots had that nice in layer, but Diamond Skin also responded in a layer manner. We had Junkrat who had the initial trap that took away the team, but Sonya came up from the top, looking to force a fight. Garrosh was able to throw her away.
And talking about Sonya, she now starts to push out the bot lane, and they already have a free shot at the fort. And that's exactly what we've been talking about earlier. If you don't get anything through your mid and early game advantages, then you can't complain if your opponent overruns you in the late game. And that's what we're seeing now. Robodoba gets chunked down already. Nande goes in, tries to get some damage out. He picked his 20 by now as well. But this is just rough going.
Rather rough here. Constant pokes coming in from Zealots, and anytime they don't want to fight, they just portal away another portal here as they go straight for the turrets. And the item game is becoming very prevalent here for Zealots. They are consistently moving in and grabbing these turrets, grabbing the healing item as well, and now it's time to hop on the protectors. Healing pulse, thank you very much. Oh my gosh. Looking at Robodoba and crew, they gotta watch it for Zarman here on the right. Dragon's Arrow comes out, there's gonna be the play of game. ADRD controlling the point on the right side, but Force of Will popping in, but look at the Riptire.
The Riptire comes in, and Hanzold hasn't really done too much, but here comes the engage. Ancestral in this case actually misclick, not hitting Sonya, and that could be the end of Zarmany. He's down already. Oh my god!
Wow!
Roskmek goes in for the double kill. Chris is low and he wants him. He gets him a quad kill. Roskmek just obliterates the Zealots, and that was insane.
And that all comes down to a misclick. Sonya getting so low on health that Ancestral Healing connects. They could have fought back, and Zealots in a situation where they could not get Sonya nice and healthy. Roskmek comes in for the punish, finds the right opportunity. Diamond Skin pushes in for the keep, and they're going straight for the core.
Yeah, they definitely do, and absolutely deservedly so. And Roskmek, I mean, that was just absolutely crazy. Got a double kill with one of his moves there, and then he chases down Hanzo too. 4 kills by him alone. That was absolute insanity. Great play here by Roskmek and by the Zealots, and a very well executed last fight. But as we, sorry, by Diamond Skin. But as we said, for the Zealots, it was really rough that the Ancestral, it actually hit Blaze as he was entering the bunker as well.